So we don't often cover other content creators on this channel, so to speak, but one of my personal favorites in that regard is HasanAbi or Hasan Piker, and he recently went on Piers Morgan in defense of the pro-Palestinian students at Columbia and absolutely lit up the entire panel, which seemed to be stocked full of unknown Zionists, par one Palestinian ally that he did have, but Hasan does do most of the legwork throughout the debate, so I want to look over a few of the clips and highlights and use it as a way to break down what's been happening.
They divest, their colleges divest from a lot of the companies that are aligned with the state of Israel, a lot of the companies that are directly involved in operations in the West Bank, a lot of the companies that are playing a role in the regular maintenance of the apartheid regime of Israel and helping Israel conduct an ethnic cleansing campaign. That is the ultimate goal. That is why they're trying to very clearly cause a little bit of a disruption and engage in.
But are you comfortable? Okay, but are you comfortable,
the most American thing you can do?
Are you comfortable with the ones who are seen chanting support for Hamas or chanting about Intifada?
I am perfectly comfortable with people chanting about the Intifada. As far as the Hamas thing goes, any kind of protest is always going to have a litany of random people, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. You have to look at the actual tangible goals that the protest movement is stating they're interested in.
He is exactly right here. A very bad faith and easy way to attempt to tear down a legitimate movement is by characterizing it by those representing it to an extreme that the original movement itself doesn't encompass when it's hard to kind of attack it at its true legs. You can do this on any side all throughout history. Black Lives Matter. Throw aside their entire messaging on police brutality and criminal injustice for the rioters, right? Christianity, characterize it only by the anti-gay, man must lead women has to be subservient types. Muslims conflate them all to terrorists, and it's happening here as well. Columbia has plenty of Palestinian and pro-Palestinian students who don't want their tuition dollars funding enterprises or projects that then further the Israeli apartheid state, and I think protesting against that is a very legitimate ask. And with Columbia opening centers in Tel Aviv, being in cohorts with dual degree programs with Tel Aviv University, none of its pro-Palestinian students can go to these centers or benefit from these things. A referendum vote for divestment from this and ending Columbia's dual program with Tel Aviv University passed with over 60% majorities. Some people will call for extremes. Some people will call for violence or represent harmful messaging. The answer is to stop those people, but you don't try to have the minority write the messaging for the majority. That's just bad faith.
You ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer.
Because you're repeating
Israel
these lies.
has been an apartheid regime
ahead,
since
please.
its inception. Until 1967, Israel was an apartheid regime for the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs, as you called them. There was a two-tier criminal justice system. They were subjected to the military court processes and not the civil court processes until 1967. After 1967, they got citizenship. There are obviously still many different social issues that pertain to the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs that are living in Israel, those who are not Jewish, of course. However, Israel currently is occupying the West Bank. There are more than 2 million Palestinians that live in the West Bank. Israel is illegally occupying the West Bank. There are checkpoints. There are license plates that restrict Palestinian travel. The Israeli operations in the West Bank have destroyed Palestinian statehood.
He's again spot on here, and the way Zionists dance around these points as if people's lives aren't at stake while they do it and confidently ask you to prove it in hopes that you just aren't informed is disgusting. It's long been documented the unequal justice system that Israelis have enforced on Palestinians in the West Bank, where Israeli military courts enforce rigorous and aggressive punishments on Palestinians accused of crimes on Israelis, oftentimes without any evidence, while Israeli settlers directly committing crimes and those accused of crimes against Palestinians enjoy practical impunity for their actions. Israeli human rights organizations themselves have categorized Israel as an apartheid state. Amnesty International, the Human Rights Watch, the UN, about any international or human rights organization you can ask or you can look into will tell you Israel is indeed an apartheid state.
Every single moment that we use on air, not talking about every single university building being desecrated, destroyed. The fact that we're having this conversation on the eve of hundreds of mass graves being unearthed right now in many different parts of Gaza around hospitals that Israel had laid siege to is disgusting. I agree. I came on here, as I have done last time as well, and as I will probably do in the future as well, with one simple goal in mind, which is to address all of the misinformation that surrounds stuff like this.
And this is of the utmost importance. People on the pro-Israel end will try to use this protest and these things to distract from the indefensible actions that are currently going on from the IDF. Over 60% of Gaza destroyed, hundreds of hospitals being bombed, hundreds of churches, mosques being bombed, schools being bombed, safe zones being bombed, then being moved to other safe zones, those safe zones being bombed. And they'll try to instead point to extremists in the crowd and say, see, this is the messaging, this is the true problem, when it's not representative of what is being asked at all, which is simply stop funding genocide. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.